Hi, I'm Veronica. I teach somatic techniques and I specialize in dealing with anxiety and its bodily symptoms. This is my mini series, Let Go. The first few episodes were about physical letting go. The last episode was more about dealing with overwhelming thoughts. And now I'm going to move on to dealing with overwhelming emotions. And again, there are so many aspects of that. There's no way I can put it all in one short video. But let's look at the anger. It's an interesting one because culturally, we often have that feeling that anger is that negative emotion, that it's something bad, that if we feel it, then that means that there's something wrong with us. We should not show it. We should not even feel it. Yeah. If we're good people, why would we feel anger? And that can even get exacerbated if you're in that kind of spiritual circles. If you're for a long time in the yoga world or in the meditation world, you might think that, yeah, you should be always calm and good, and there's no space there for anger. So there's a big risk there, as all emotions need to find their channel out. So suppressing any emotion is a recipe for disaster. It will stay within your body over time. It can turn into pain or any sort of condition. This has been proven. So all that I can really encourage you to do is to let go of your emotions. But of course, you can lash out your anger at someone, swearing, cursing, using verbal violence. And this is not the right way to channel your emotions. That's why I'm going to give you a better alternative. So, the emotion of anger is very important. Very often, it has something to do with showing where are your boundaries, showing that, okay, this has been too much for me. And it's important to express it. But you want to express the pure emotion rather than attach it to a particular person or a problem or a situation. And for that, you need to let it out of your body mostly. The sound helps as well, letting out the sound, and I'm going to show it to you as well. But sometimes it's enough to make some sort of movement, a gesture, or the facial expression where you're channeling it out, when you're releasing it. And only then, only after you actually allowed it to come out, you can come back to that calming down state. So rather than, I'm angry and I just try to calm myself down so I'm not angry anymore, you allow yourself to express that anger in a nice, safe way, in a safe environment, and then you will be ready. Your nervous system will be ready to calm down on its own. It's a tough one because we have lots of blocks through our upbringing. Sometimes we're wondering, oh, what will neighbor say, or what if somebody sees me? So ideally, this practice is to be done somewhere where you're on your own, where nobody's gonna bother you. If you're gonna use the sound, when no one's gonna hear you as well, so that you can be more at ease with what you're going to do. And the only prop you need is a towel. Now, very important, this practice makes sense only if you can tap into that sensation of anger. Sometimes anger is kind of really thinly covered with some other emotion. So you might be thinking, oh, I'm just a little bit frustrated, but in fact, you're quite angry about something. But it's not going to work if you don't have any connection with that emotion whatsoever. So that requires a kind of longer process. But let's say that you're aware or you're sensing that actually I think I'm really angry about something. I'm really feeling that anger within me, and that's how you can let it out. It's great both for for the people who tend to be very hyper reactive and tend to like act out that anger in not necessarily a very helpful or healthy way, and for the people who tend to suppress the anger as a rule. Okay, so I think I can tap into some some layers of anger that were somewhere deeper within me. So it should work. I should be able to show it to you. All you need is a towel or a small blanket, something like this. It's very simple. First, you want to tap into what you feel. So you could stay with your eyes closed, you could stay with your eyes open. This is secondary. But you might start feeling that there is a residue of that emotion within you. Or maybe it's quite fresh and it's easy for you to feel it straight away. And you might feel it somewhere in your body. It might be that heat that you feel in your face. It might be some tension that you have in your fists or in your arms. So the quickened breath, there could be many ways in which you can feel that that anger is there. So you want to connect with the pure energy, with that sensation itself, with the sensation of anger in your body, rather than thinking what that anger is attached to, which person, what situation. This is kind of irrelevant. You're focusing on the sensation of anger itself. So there is this acknowledgement that, yes, I am angry. You're giving yourself the permission to feel that anger, and then you can let it out. And just before I do it, I will explain what's going to happen. So this is for you to express that anger, and it might be something like shaking, kind of pulling it apart, twisting it. You could do various things with your hands, but there will be that force, that physical force that you use, and you place it into that towel. And additionally, you could add to that some sounds of facial expressions, and especially this kind of almost canine expression when you growl and you show your teeth. As this is kind of natural evolutionary way in which we do show this emotion. So give yourself a moment. Stay connected with that sensation in your body, which is the same as the emotion you're feeling. And then you go for it. And it might be a short burst like this. It might be perfectly enough, it can be something little that just needed releasing. But at times, as you start going along and getting at it, you feel like, okay, maybe you want to go farther with that. So sometimes you feel like maybe throwing yourself on the sofa, maybe also beating or punching some pillow, or hitting something with a pillow, anything, any of that will make sense so long as it releases. So then you take a break and you come back to it, and again you will observe. And there's still the residues of it, so maybe there's still this jaw that is clenching. Maybe there's still that tension in your arms. And then you're like, okay, yeah, I'll have another go. I'll go for another round of it. Or maybe it will be like, oh yes, it was just something minor, and no, actually, I'm feeling good. Maybe you will feel like taking an inhale, another deep inhale, and deep exhale, and you're in a different place. You can move on. You can start practices that will settle, that will be soothing. There are many of the practices like this that I offer in this channel. And as I said, sometimes it's nice to add the sound as well. It works if you don't have that fear, oh, what my neighbors will think, because you really want to kind of go for it. And you can work with the breath and add to that those sounds. I've already mentioned the sound as a nice way of releasing that physical and mental tension. And something that would work quite well, and what we don't do, is we have that kind of block in the throat. We never express fully ourselves, our emotions. So sometimes something as simple as inhaling and lifting the arms, and then as you exhale, making that really loud and deep, clear sound, which could be ah, or it could be oh, is fundamentally very, very releasing. And you could even imagine that this sound kind of travels through all your body. So it would go something like this. It's very simple. But when you think of it, we do lots of releasing movements, lots of loosening with our bodies, but we rarely do it for our voice. And there is also this energy that likes to be released. So you could go on and try various methods, various ways of doing it. Maybe sometimes more like A, sometimes this A turns into other vowel. So you can play with it. And that vocal expression is another way to help you release and express the emotions. And then once you release them in a safe way, only then you can move on to the relaxation. So I hope you enjoy that little practice that you can do, of course, every time you feel safe, you're on your own, and you're in a place where you can really bring up and channel that energy that maybe is still with you a few hours later. It hasn't been processed. You feel that it's still stuck in your body. I really, really wholeheartedly recommend it. You can leave me some comments. How did it go? And I will also recommend you to check other videos of this series. Subscribe not to miss any of the new episodes, but most of all, those are just like really small snippets I can give you in a short YouTube video. Well, if you want to get much more of a context, how you could use your body to work through overwhelming emotions, such as anxiety, and all the sensations that go along with it, all those sometimes really difficult feelings and pains and discomfort that come as a result of anxiety, I really recommend you to sign up for my newsletter with Meta, and I will link it below in the comments. Thank you very much, and see you next time.